Today we're going to take a look at Batman from the Mego World's Greatest Superheroes line. Now this is one of the earliest figures that they did, and I think what was great about the Mego World's Greatest Superheroes line was they mixed it up between DC and Marvel. So you got classic DC characters and you got classic Marvel characters all in one toy line, which is fantastic. So looking at this figure, this is one of the later variants of Batman. This is the one with the sculpted head. There was an early release where he actually had a removable cowl. Now I did a bit of research on this guy on the Mego Museum, and there's actually a staggering 15 variants of Batman just loose. That's without including boxed and carded variations. So tons of stuff to look for. Now this one unfortunately has quite a lot of reproduction parts, which I shall show you. So first off, we've got the cape. This is a brilliant cape, however it's a reproduction, and we can tell that if we flip it over. Look under the back there, DM Dr. Mego. So at least Dr. Mego has the decency to mark up the reproduction so you can tell straight away what you're getting. Now he does come with a sticker, and I'm not sure if this is an original or a reproduction. Couldn't tell you, no idea. He's got a belt, and that's definitely a reproduction. And if we look there, you can probably just see on the back it's got DM. It's actually backwards because it's printed on the other side and it's upside down. But if we were to take that off, you'd be able to see that's got the reproduction markings on there. Comes with an all-in-one suit with the black pants and the grey costume. So over the years, Batman has had a staggering amount of costume changes. From his early comic book version, was that 1939 or something, through to the 60s one with Adam West, which this one closely resembles, all the way through to the Tim Burton 89 Batman where he went all dark looking, and that's carried on right through up to this year with The Dark Knight Rises, which is a fantastic film, by the way. If you haven't seen it, get yourself there. But this is the one I grew up with. I remember watching the TV show when I was a kid and thinking it was brilliant. I never really read the comics so much, but definitely that TV show I thought was a classic. So let's have a look at his oven mitts then. These are these daft gloves that the Mego figures used to come with. It's got little sort of cut out fins on there, and they're basically big daft looking oven mitts is the only way to describe them. Now these are reproduction, and we'll just carefully slide this one off, and you'll be able to see in there more Dr. Mego, good old Dr. Mego. Apparently that guy works for DC now on the DC Retro or whatever it is line. So we'll just try and get that back on. The problem with these is they always crease up, so I found the best way to get the gloves back on is to cover his hand with his sleeve and just sort of slide it over the top. And by the time you get there, the sleeve's gone back over his hand a bit. But it stops you getting all the creases at the top, which is nice. So onto his boots, and these boots are original. This is probably the only original bit on this figure, apart from the costume and the body. And you can see they're a funny looking blue colour. Not sure if they were always that colour or that's just... well, this guy's nearly 40, so he's allowed to have a little bit of discoloration. And for a 40-year-old, he's looking pretty good. So usual articulation, you can't move his ankles because he's got the boots on. You're going to move the wrist, it's pointless because you've got these daft gloves on. But everything else, you've got ball arms and hinge at the elbows and the knees. So he's pretty nice. So the first version that Mego did was the removable cowl version of Batman. And that one featured a complete head sculpt with a separate cowl piece. And if you want to see what the head sculpt looked like, go watch my Jet Jungle video, because that's pretty much the same, only Jet Jungle's got white hair. And like I say, 15 variations of this guy just loose. And I do have one of them, so I'll show you him, and that's this guy. We'll just get rid of that. Now, if you've been listening, you probably know that's a reproduction cape. And they're reproduction gloves. They're original. And actually on this one, the belt's an original because it's a little bit more solid colour and it doesn't have any DMs on it or anything. Sticker might or might not be original. I'm not that much of an expert to tell you on that one. So, where is he different then? Well, I'll show you. On the back, get rid of his cape. Hard to see on black, but he's got the button. So that means he's a fist fighting Batman. So if we get his oven mitts a bit raised, and we turn that left to right, he does sort of a gloved karate chop more than a punch. And the fist fighting Batman came out a little bit later. I think it's 75, 76, something like that. And you can hear it clicking there. He does have some mechanisms inside him, which makes him a little bit delicate. And you might notice his head's a little bit more discoloured if we bring the other one back in. You can see there is a bit of a colour difference there. But both of these guys are pretty nice. I did have one with an original cape, and it was more of a purple colour. None of the original capes were this dark. They were either like that colour or sort of purpley tint to them. But to be honest, I prefer the Dr. Mego ones, and that's probably why I sold the original one I had, because he was all original, and at the time I probably thought it was a good idea, seeing as I had 3 of them. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these guys. I'll just bring them both in again. We have the fist fighting and the regular Batman from Mego, World's Greatest Superheroes. I'll say it again, if you haven't seen The Dark Knight Rises, you're missing out, guys. Get yourself to the cinema, get it watched, because it's brilliant. This has been Luke, thanks for watching. I'll see you.